by. You have to capture it when it comes.
Yeah.
So what was your question?
No, it just seems like you thrive, or like you really, really want that fast-paced environment. Like, you want the world to be like the ER.
I think that's the best. I've worked as an ER nurse for 10 years. And when you're working in a very fast-paced environment, an environment that calls for you to keep very high level productivity while also multitasking. They say it's multitasking, but we all know human beings, by nature, we're not good at multitasking.
You're just doing a bunch of things as fast as you can and you're switching back and forth, so you're really spreading yourself thin.
Right. So, I mean, it depends on how you want to see it. You can either call it, you can consider it a stretching yourself thing, or you can consider it multitasking. I agree with Dave. I'm really good at stretching myself thing. It's crazy, but
it's a gift.
There's I don't know about all that, but there's a rush that comes from switching from one thing to the next while maintaining controlled chaos. Like, for instance, if I went up to like 5 different things, I'd fall apart. But if I was handling 4 different things, I can give 4 of them a solid amount of attention. That's how the ER works.
Like, the least amount of productive attention you can give someone, you max that for?
No.
Or quality attention? The least amount of quality attention?
Least amount of critical thinking you can provide to each agent or each part. Because listen, I'm dealing with 4 sick people. Depending on their acuity level, it could be a lot of work, or it could be less work, and when I talk about work, I'm talking about critical thinking. Because say for instance, if someone shows up and they're clutching their chest and they are having problem breathing, that's a telltale sign of a stroke or something similar. So I would treat that individual with higher priority. I immediately rush him to get some electrodes done, get an EKG reading, so we can determine what underlying underlying rhythm we're dealing with. And when you go through training, you understand the different interpretations of those rhythms, and each one of those rhythms have a treatment modality attached to each one of them. You have to have all that in your head while you're switching from patient to patient. And this one is you're dealing with cardiac care. This one is gastrointestinal. Oh, and there's a pregnant woman over here. Oh, and by the way, there's a 10-year-old kid in your 4th room. So you have to balance and remember what to do when you step into that room. Who are you dealing with, and which part of your memory do you need to challenge? It's an inefficient way of, like, we're dealing with human life here. There's absolutely no reason why I should be doing that while treating human life. But because of but those are the tools.
What do you think the problem is?
The healthcare system. Those are the tools that we're giving. The healthcare system is instead of being treated as a human right or as a civil liberty, we're profiting from it. It's so wrong. That's the last place that you should have investors or corporations. Profit-driven corporations.
Right, because then they want to reduce labor, obviously, to increase
maximize profit.
Of course.
And they're cutting resources that determine life and death. So,
oh man.
You know, as a registered nurse working in the ER, I should only be responsible for as many patients that I can handle, that I can provide 100% care to. But it doesn't matter, because the numbers at the end of the day is what matters to the corporation behind that hospital or that healthcare facility. They're trying to maximize their profits and reduce their expenses.
What's the solution?
Medicare for all. They have to, and I'm not even talking about Medicare for all with an overblown government of
So this
government
isn't
control.
a question of like, should we, just individual hospitals think of a better system to have. This is like, we have to change the entire system for this country.
Oh yeah, the system requires an overhaul,
It's-
and it doesn't need to copy what other people are doing. It should be decentralized, and the market should determine. There should be transparency on how much these different services cost. Like when you go into the hospital, it should be a buffet. It should be a menu. Okay, this is what you need
Yeah.
based on your diagnosis, and these are the things that you can afford. You can purchase. This is the price. And then based on those costs, insurance companies can then offer their services, and then you can allow them compete. That's how you drive down costs. But in a situation where you have monopolies,
Okay.
the quality of the care suffers, and the patient is screwed over. Let's not even go into the fact that we're generating so much data for these corporations, and we're not getting any.
Right.
We're not getting any windfall.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got loss in data, loss in autonomy to choose what the right type of care fairly without getting screwed over. So those are
So
the
you don't believe in like HMOs and managed care? Because there are many out there who would like argue that is what is helping us reduce the cost of healthcare.
no. What I think that needs to happen is the open market needs to decide. So like when you have let's say for instance you have a service like ideally, like the phone plans or the phone companies. Okay, maybe that's a terrible company because they're also consolidating. But when you go to the app market, for instance, and you're looking at a specific type of app, say
Video editing, maybe.
video editing app, there's like 10 different or maybe even 100 different video editing apps, and they all have different features, and they're all, some of them are better than the others.
Okay.
That allows you to be able to make an informed decision which video app you want to use and how much you want to spend. And I think the same principle should apply to healthcare, the way healthcare is handled. It should be an open market situation, and it should also be very transparent, so the patient can make informed decisions. As it is set up, the only people benefiting from this are the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies. Those are the only parties. Yeah, you can argue that the patient is also getting some health care, but I push back that it could be better. You don't have to go bankrupt because
you
you're
think some
sick.
of the care is unnecessary as well?
Some of the cares are necessary. It's not in our position to judge. Who are you to tell somebody that they don't get to cut off their breast if they want to? Like, that's not your problem. The question is
not necessarily just like about things like that, but do you think like sometimes surgery is unnecessary, but it's being pushed onto the patient as like the treatment for you?
right, because
It's profit driven.
that's an outcome of a larger issue that needs to be addressed. The underlying problem that's causing that to happen is the lack of transparency. So when you introduce transparency, then the patient gets to see what's important for their diagnosis and what's not important. So they can, you can reduce the fat, trim the fat. Get exactly what you need and pay for exactly what you need at a really fair price. Okay, so that's that, and I really think that we're talking about the situation in the ER, why it was like so difficult for why my shifts were so chaotic the way they were, and how I became the way I am today. I like this fast-paced environment because I was forced to adapt or die or lose my job. and so I had to adapt. I reduced my time like to a point, like I had it down to a math where I know exactly how much time I need to spend in the patient's room from when they walk in there till when they leave. And I know the resources they need depending on their diagnosis. I know how to batch the different tasks involved in running their care. So that by the end of my 12-hour shift, I'm not as exhausted.
Right.
That builds, when you do that for over a span of a decade, you build certain skills that you can transfer to other places. Skills like the ability to think on your feet, critical thinking, the ability to withstand pressure, operate at a high level under pressure, not panic in the face of pressure or in the face of challenge, stay calm, keep a level head, and approach and be very result driven. You know what I mean? Like when I'm presented with a problem or with any particular issue, I don't get emotional immediately and start, I don't start thinking about what it'll feel like if I screamed or cried about it. I immediately go to what are the possible solutions to this particular issue, and I start running through them one by one. And I think those are skills. Also, the ability to retain a lot of important information, because sometimes like you'll be in a cardiac resuscitation situation, and there's a lot of orders being called out. While you're writing down some stuff, you also have to recall. You have to stay present, so you know exactly what's going on, because the life of that individual in the bed is dependent on it. Mm-hmm. You have to remember what medications have been given at what time, how many compressions have been given, or how many, have the labs come back? Have we done a glucose test? Have we, there's so many things. And all these things are happening simultaneously. And mind you, this is a room full of all kinds of healthcare staff running around trying to be as productive of team members as they can be. So fast forward to present, I start noticing a pattern with me. Like I like the novelty of an idea, and once I get that idea, I start borrowing into it. Like I want to know more and more and more. It's like I just keep digging deep until I feel like I've gotten a really rich knowledge of it, that I can explain it to you without even any issues, right?
Right.
Then my mind starts to wander. I start branching off. Like the information starts creating other possibilities. Like I give you an example, right?
Yeah.
Like we start our motorhome rental company.
Right.
We're renting motorhomes. Some people would just choose to stay there, just like, hey, it's working.
Hey, yeah, it's working.
Don't
Why change it?
anything.
I mean, if anything, you just get another one, and then we'll have to.
No, but I'm not thinking like that.
Let's expand.
I'm thinking about how can we like get a commercial piece of property so we can start a storage facility so I can cut costs in storage. I'm also thinking about putting dump stations there so that people can.
And also a car wash.
I can.
Or RV wash or truck wash.
Well, truck wash is a whole different. It's a good one.
I feel like we should, because I mean that has to do with everything we're doing. If we're doing car rentals and RV rentals.
Yeah, but we
need all of those elements.
Right, it's a good one. I get it, but it's more of a stretch. It's more of a lot of work.
We would need a lot of commercial property for that, though.
Yeah, there's a lot more resources necessary required for that. But if you stay within like just the storage facility, there's so much that you can offer within a storage facility that, you know what I mean? Like for instance, if you added you invited Tesla to put Tesla charging stations on the property. That right there will bring traffic, and you can put some convenience stores there. You already have traffic for your convenience stores. I mean, this is just assuming that we have a large piece of
You know what? I
land.
just had another idea about something we can add to this thing. If we do storage plus,
Storage plus
the other thing
the
that we're
charging
doing?
stations
yeah,
and
the Tesla charging station and whatnot.
dump station.
Because that's all bringing everyone to one place,
Mhm.
you know, for all this. Another thing, okay, so when I was in high school, anytime like our school would need a fundraiser, one of the biggest fundraisers and profit-driven fundraisers that we did,
Yeah.
where we had almost no money up front whatsoever, is when we would get together at any kind of local spot, whatever business allows us to do this, and we would host a car wash, a community car wash. So it'd be like we would advertise it throughout the week in the newspaper, and the newspaper always gave us a deal because, you know, we're a school. And then so we advertise the car wash. Then like Saturday, all the students, whoever wants to participate in this money thing, because maybe the money from, you know, the profits from this fundraiser is going to go to like some field trip we're trying to go on. Maybe we need to go to a museum, maybe we want to go on a cruise, whatever we're trying to do. The car wash is supposed to help pay for it. So all the kids who want to get in on that money to pay for their trips have to participate. And then, so we hold up signs. Of course, we did our advertising for the week. And then just local cars from the, you know, community, they just drive on in and we wash their cars. And then they give us donations. So we can't actually charge them a certain amount, but they would give us like, some, you know, people are nice and they'll give you like $20. One time we got $100. One time we washed a gigantic truck, like a huge big old, like whatever it's called, 8-wheel truck, right? And the guy gave us a lot of money for that.
18-wheeler.
Yeah, 18-wheeler. And then
How'd you guys watch an 18-wheeler?
a lot of kids got together and we all just went, we did the best we could.
Funny.
And we just jumped on it and just started, everyone just takes a spot, like grabs a sponge, and we all just start scrubbing. We're just high school kids. Obviously we do a terrible job, but we're trying. And, you know, I mean, really all we needed was someone would donate a hose from their house, and then another kid, maybe their parents would buy like soap from the store or something. Or maybe a couple parents would help donate like soap from the stores and sponges and things like that.
Yeah.
And then that's all we needed. And then you just hook our hose up to the spigot next to whatever businesses are letting us do this, like McDonald's. And then we would just do it. So anyway, I was just saying that we can use that same concept, maybe allow the local schools to know that they can host car washes at our place. And then that would also drive in a lot of other traffic to where we are.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
That's having a car wash without being responsible.
Exactly, having a car wash without being responsible. And actually we look like the good guys because we're giving back, right?
Yeah.
We're allowing a school to host a car wash at our place.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the kind of ideas that we would have, instead of just staying on the one track of just renting RVs. We would want to expand it and split it into other businesses that still tie into the core business.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Any other questions?
So healthcare or other things?
In terms of what?
Where do you, because I know you have your hands in many different jars. I guess I don't even know what the saying is, but anyway, where do you really feel like you're supposed to be? Or what do you feel like you want to be most? Or is everything just kind of like whatever? Because I like to do it all, and I'm very fast paced and just ties into
I
who
want
I
to
am.
be where I am serving humanity the most. Wherever, like, the work has to matter. I don't like doing mundane work. I don't want to sell things that I'm like. That's why the idea of day trading as a profession is just silly to me, because you're not really contributing back to society.
I think you contribute absolutely nothing. You're just taking.
Yeah, you're just taking
You're
away.
scraping a little bit from the top.
It's like mooch, like parasites.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. there are people who are actually creating and contributing to society. And then you have the ones who are on the corners just.
But they're making the most money, and they're like, or they're making a lot of money.
Right. So I would rather be one of the creators, one of the ones who are actually adding value back to society.
Okay, so regardless if it's healthcare or non-healthcare, it's just if you're doing something for society, you're good.
Yeah, precisely. So, yeah, so it's not a matter of healthcare or if I have the energy to wash people's cars just to make them happy, I'll do it. As long as my cost of living is taken care of.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The sad thing is just that it's not profitable to do that. And I don't think it should be that way. I think that money is just a social construct. It's a tool to exchange value. And if I'm gonna wash your car and detail it, I should be able to set some type of market price for that service. Now, obviously, the market will determine based on the quality of the service that I'm providing and
what people are going to be willing to pay for,
and what people are going to be willing to pay for it. So, if, yeah, I can provide amazing service and get paid real good cash for it. That will be enough for me to like. And a lot of these, we're starting to see a lot of careers and businesses popping up that are focused solely on providing top-notch service to their users. If you think about the newer companies, they want to keep you on their platform as long as possible. Now, granted, they're collecting your data, which is more expensive. We just haven't realized it. But the service they provide, like Google is the best search engine. Apple has one of the best products, and you know what I mean. So for your company or your product, Amazon, look how easy and convenient it is to buy things. That was because of Amazon. It wasn't like that before. So I'm thinking that for your business to be that level of successful, you have to provide the best service or product to your end user. You know what I mean? That's where we're going. We're going in a direction that rewards people who provide the best level of service or product to their end user. That's the direction we're going.
Okay.
I'm over here advertising
because
Mountain
we're
Dew.
no longer survivors.
I don't usually drink Mountain Dew.
Oh.
And today, I'm running an ad for them. No.
Link in the description.
It's not good stuff. Don't drink it. It's okay to drink it every now and then, but don't make a meal out of it.
It's like you want that soda. That's okay. If you eat something spicy and then you drink soda, it's like, oh.
Not just any soda. Cold soda.
Cold soda. Yeah.
I think it's the combination of the cold temperature and the
like the
carbonated.
Yeah, the carbonation and then the spice in your food, and it's just like it burns, but it's a really, really good burn. You need that sometimes.
Yep. Anyway, that's where we wrap it up for today.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.